On July 17th, at GM Technic Glass Factory, workers from Kristal-İş union went on strike after collective bargaining negotiations failed to reach an agreement. On the 9th of July, 368 workers from companies affiliated with Izmir Metropolitan Municipality, members of Birleşik Union, started picketing following their dismissal. The resistance ended with an agreement on the 18th of July. On 23rd July, members of the Health and Social Service Workers Union announced their collective bargaining demands in front of university hospitals. Workers demanded the right to strike, a base wage above the poverty line, permanent employment, and free healthcare services. On 23rd of July, Turkish and Russian workers at the Akkuyu Nuclear Power Plant construction site, who had not received their wages for 3 months, staged a work stoppage. On 9th July, workers at Omsa Metal, organized under Birleşik Metal-İş union, began picketing in front of the factory to demand recognition of their union rights and the initiation of collective bargaining negotiations. On 5 August at Peri Textile, 17 workers from Birleşik union were dismissed for opposing mobbing and insults. They set up a resistance tent and continue their struggle. On 29th of July, Turk Metal Union held a press statement in front of the Bitron electromechanical factory, where 25 workers were dismissed. Workers, organized under Turk Metal Union a year ago, continue their resistance against the boss's hostility toward unions and dismissal attacks. Since July 28th, workers of Kent Company, Inc. and Personnel Inc., affiliated with Karşıyaka Municipality, have been protesting in front of the municipality building, demanding the payment of their wages and wage differences under the collective bargaining agreement. On 30 July, around 2,000 UİD-DER union members stopped work at Yataş in response to the failure to reach an agreement in collective bargaining negotiations and the imposition of a poverty-level wage increase. Workers declared that they will continue their struggle until they win their rights, demanding a 40% wage increase. On 30 July, the dismissal of 223 workers organized under Genel-İş Union by the trustee administration of Van Metropolitan Municipality was protested with a mass march. On 14th August, the workers held another mass march, reiterating their demand for reinstatement. In late July, the Public Collective Bargaining Framework Protocol, covering 600,000 public workers, concluded with the signing of a poverty-level wage increase. While public workers protested against poverty-level wages and pressure, the Habiş Union refused to sign the agreement and decided to continue the struggle by setting up tents in squares called labor tents. In the first week of August, KESK, Confederation of Public Employees Trade Unions, established an alternative collective bargaining table to announce public employees' demands for the 2026 to 2027 agreement. On the day the government announced its first wage offer, KESK protested with a press statement in front of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. On 13 August, joint press statements were held in many cities across Turkey, calling on public employees and retirees, regardless of union membership, to unite against poverty wages. On 15th August, KESK protested again in front of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security against the government's second offer, limited to a 1,000 lira increase in base wages, and announced a one-day work stoppage by all public employees on 18 August. On 30 July, 2 workers at Elyaf Textile were dismissed for joining UİD-DER union. On June 6th, DİSK, KESK, and other labour organisations paid a solidarity visit to the workers, who have been on strike since July 30th. On 7th August, public workers at Middle East Technical University, METÜ, members of TEZKÜPİŞ union, went on strike after their collective bargaining demands were not met. METÜ students also supported the strike. The workers at Digel Textile, who were dismissed for joining the TEXIF union, continue their resistance. On 12th August, workers at SAG Hydraulic, where the Birleşik Metal-İş union is organized, began resistance after one worker was dismissed. The union management called on the boss to respect union rights and sit at the negotiating table.